Welcome to Monograph Matters. I'm talking today with Tyler Watts, author of the SRCD Monograph on understanding heterogeneity and the impact of public preschool programs. This discussion focuses on the contribution of this study to our understanding of early childhood development and education. Tyler, how does your study contribute to our understanding of early childhood development and education?
Yeah, so I think for developmental theory, there are a few interesting pieces of our study. So we set out, like I said earlier, we set out really with this strong interest in understanding heterogeneity. In other words, understanding whether the effect of NC pre-K is stronger or weaker, the effect of funding on children is stronger or weaker, depending on certain environmental characteristics of kids. And the way we sort of set out to look at this is with a theoretical lens, with really an understanding that there were sort of competing theories out there that all seemed very plausible. So one theory that's quite popular in the field right now is this idea of complementarity. And that theory predicts that two environments that have positive effects on developmental outcomes for kids will essentially support one another and have a multiplicative benefit. So you'll be better off as a function of getting both of these environments in combination than you would have from getting either one individually. So it's not just that two good environments add to one another in an additive way, but actually the effects compound, right? And they complement one another. So people often predict this when they think that that pre-K effects are going to be larger for kids who leave pre-K and go into higher quality kindergarten or first grade environments. And that seems totally plausible at the outset. Another theory is one of compensatory effects. And this theory predicts that investments like NC pre-K may actually have larger effects on children who are more likely to experience less supportive or more disadvantaged environments in other contexts. And that expectation has been long held in the developmental psychology literature. People have been writing about the potential of buffering effects for many, many years. It's deeply rooted in a lot of theory around why early childhood education should be a worthwhile investment. And studies often do find that ECE program benefits are largest for children who are more likely to be disadvantaged along a lot of different parameters. So what we sort of argue in the manuscript is that if you're looking at longitudinal effects, these two theories might be contradictory to one another in some ways, and we try to sort of reconcile how they could generate differential predictions for what you might see in the long term. So what's really interesting is that across most of the tests of heterogeneity that we conducted, we didn't see much in either direction. So we saw, as Jade mentioned, a lot of evidence for additive effects, meaning that there was a main effect of being an NC pre-K, and that main effect did not really change when crossed with another environment. So the other environment may have its own effect and they operate independently. And if you get both of them, the positive benefit of both environments would simply add to one another. We did not really find any evidence across all of our tests for complementarity, meaning that getting two environments in succession did not create this multiplicative benefit. Instead, when we did see interactions, we saw evidence for compensatory effects, such that children who were more likely to be in more disadvantaged environments, whether those occurred during the preschool year or after preschool, had the largest impact of funding, meaning that the NC pre-K funding effect was larger. It had a bigger effect on kids' achievement when they were more likely to be in lower quality or more disadvantaged environments, both in elementary school and in their economic kind of county environment writ large. So what this means is that if you're thinking about who's going to benefit the most from early childhood interventions or investments in early childhood education, our findings suggest that there's some general benefit across the population of kids affected by the program, but that the largest benefit, or you're getting the most bang for your buck, if you will, by investing in the communities where children are most likely to be disadvantaged. And even surprisingly, in communities where children are entering lower quality elementary schools, those kids seem to benefit the most from investments in the NC pre-K system. So we think this is really interesting for developmental theory because it suggests that this kind of get richer effect, at least with the types of ECE programs that we were looking at, we didn't see much evidence for that. But instead, we see that in terms of supporting developmental experiences, thinking along the lines of buffering or compensatory effects may be a more worthwhile way to go.
Read more about this topic in the monograph issue, Understanding Heterogeneity in the Impact of Public Preschool Programs by Watts, Jenkins, Dodge, et al. If you like this video, consider watching our Monograph Matters playlist. For additional resources related to this and other issues of the monographs of the Society for Research in Child Development, please visit monographmatters.srcd.org.